What is going on, everybody? This is Brandon here. Just going to be me reviewing WWE Backlash. It was a solid pay-per-view in my book. I'm going to go through the matches, let you guys know my thoughts. Going to start off with KO Randy versus Solo Sikoa and Tama Tonga. They ended up making it a street fight. Thought this was a pretty good match. You know, a lot of good spots. Really liked the KO chair spot he did with Tama Tonga in the end. Really thought that was a cool spot. KO usually does something, unique and cool in these no DQ or street fight or just matches involving ladders or chairs. KO always does something epic. And he even said in an interview recently, that's what he's trying to do more of, just create moments, not really about winning titles or being in the main event scene anymore. It's just about having cool moments at the end of his career because he doesn't know how many years he has left. And I've always been a huge KO fan. Anybody who knows me knows anything involving KO, I'm a fan of. Randy did a lot of cool stuff in this match. Tama Tonga, Solo. Everybody looked good in this match. I really didn't mind this match overall. It's good to see a street fight. I feel like under the Triple H regime, they've done a lot more different match types, kind of trying to mix it up a little bit more, not just do one-on-one normals or tag team normals. Like, it's good to have different match types and different stuff going on. And, I'm not really the biggest Solo fan. I don't know if it's just the way WWE has booked him or he just don't do a lot of cool stuff. I feel like he's a talented guy. He reminds me a lot of Umaga. I'm sure he reminds a lot of y'all of him as well. Really like the Samoan Spike. It's always one of the best finishers, in my opinion, and not a lot of people kick out of it, rightfully so. But I just feel like Solo just, and this might be what they're doing, I just feel like he needs to separate himself from Reigns entirely right now because it just feels like he was known as the guy who was just the guy who interfered in all Reigns' matches, and that was it. And he's been on a massive losing streak. It's good to see them get a win. It's very interesting to see Tonga Loa and Tama Tonga in WWE. Grows of Destiny. Awesome to see them get their shine in WWE. Obviously, one of them was in WWE previously as Camacho, pretty sure. So, this bloodline story is going to go on for a while. Whether you like it or not, it's going to go on. Probably going to have Reigns return as a face. Probably team up with the Usos and Sammy against maybe Jacob Fatu, Tonga Loa, Tama Tonga, and Solo at War Games. Maybe that's the direction they go. We'll have to see. But like I said, really enjoyed this match. A lot of cool spots. Randy still looks like in the best shape of his life. He doesn't need to do a ton in the matches. He does his usual, moves, gets the fans on their feet. The crowd was amazing for this show. Absolutely loved the crowd. And, WWE, and I've heard a lot of fans saying this, need to do more international shows just because the crowds are just so lit, so energetic. They just make American crowds look like trash. Not all American crowds. Obviously, cities like Brooklyn and Chicago are great. I'm sure I'm missing a few there, but just the crowd made the show even 10 times more better than it was. And this match as well, they were singing Randy's theme song and they were on their feet for KO and just an awesome crowd in France. Really enjoyed the crowd. Good first match. It wasn't a title match or a match that got you on their feet, but a good match overall. There are a lot of fans who have been disappointed by Randy's direction. I could see why some fans are pissed off about that. I mean, I know a lot of fans want Randy in a big time feud or fighting for a title. He was in the match with Logan Paul and KO at Mania. That's a pretty big match. Don't know if Randy's going to win another title anytime soon. I do think he's going to have another world title reign eventually, just to reward him and everything. And he's still going at such a high level. So I mean, I could see that happening potentially. But this KO and Randy team's interesting. Two of my all-time favorites teaming up's always cool. And the Bloodline, the only thing I complain about the Bloodline, obviously, it was a street fight. It was no DQ, and Tonga Loa was making his debut, helping, the Bloodline in his tag team part and everything. So I didn't really hate it too much in this match. I just hope WWE doesn't do it how they did with Reigns, where it's just every single match the Bloodline has is just constant interference. Like, WWE's always had a problem with having heel groups interfere all the time. And it's just like, sometimes heels can win on their own. They don't always need help every single match to win, especially with Reigns. Like that was my main gripe with him, especially when he was champion, is it felt like he just always had Solo's help. Like if you're the greatest of all time and nobody can touch you and you're undefeated, you shouldn't have to have help every single match. But good match overall, back and forth, used weapons, did some cool spots, announce table spots, chair spots, just fun match to kick off the show. So the next match we had Bailey versus Naomi versus Tiffany Stratton. Again, another great match. Really enjoyed it. A lot of cool spots. Naomi looked a little sloppy in the beginning. I don't know if it was her, just her timings weren't really down for the matches or for the spots. But, all three of them look great. Tiffany Stratton's going to be a superstar. We all know how good she is. She did a lot of her cool moves. Really like the Alabama slam, a flip, like combination she does. It's really a clean move. Bayley, the thing with Bayley is I've heard a lot of fans saying that they're already bored with Bayley's title reign. And it's like, here's the thing. For one, it's only been a month. They just did the draft. They're probably not fully set on what they're doing yet. Got to give it a few months. You know what I mean? Like, all these fans wanted Bayley champion, and now that she's champion, same with Cody. Now that he's champion, everybody's, oh, it's boring. There's nothing going on. Like, y'all got to give a little bit of time. Can't expect something to be great right away all the time. And, you know, Cody's not going to compete on every regular show. And the thing is with Reigns, there's a lot of fans weren't complaining about his title reign as much when he barely showed up. He's doing the same promos every week. It was the same thing Cody's doing. Y'all were just seeing it more often. So all I can ask is for some of y'all complain, just let it play out, man. Just let it, let's see what it looks like after the draft in a few months from now before we start complaining about how Bayley's title reign's boring and Cody's title reign's boring and Priest's title reign's boring. Like, let's see what the rosters look like. Let's see what their feuds look like. Let's see what the storylines are like, and then we can judge. But anyways, triple threat. Went on for a while, about 15, 10 minutes. A lot of moves being done. Really good paced match. Again, some sloppiness in the beginning, but that's going to happen in a triple threat for majority. Naomi, for me, it just feels like she came back and has just been kind of meh. Like, she hasn't really been as good as I thought she was going to be. Her ring work's been kind of sloppy a little bit for me. She's been losing a ton. It just feels like, to me, like, I know Jimmy's there and she wanted to be with her husband and all that, but to me, I just feel like she maybe should have stayed with Impact because she was women's champion there, and then she comes back to WWE and she's just getting pinned constantly, and her ring work, maybe in Impact, it was looking sloppy too. I didn't really watch a lot of her work over there, but, like, I don't know. Naomi just hasn't really felt like a big deal to me. And she ain't like a big superstar anyways, but she is a former SmackDown Women's Champion. I just feel like they don't really book her that important. But this match overall, all three women look great. We all know how good Bayley is in the ring. Naomi hit some cool stuff. Tiffany Stratton showed out. Really like the moonsault she does. She probably does the best moonsault in wrestling. I think it's so clean when she jumps on all three ropes and does the moonsault. Really like the 1D that Naomi and Bayley hit. I thought that was a really cool and shocking move they pulled out. And that happened a lot on this pay-per-view. A lot of cool moves being, brought out that wrestlers don't really do as much. But again, enjoyed this match. Didn't really like the ending, though. The ending, and I think a lot of fans were pissed off about it, just a random roll-up. And maybe they're doing that to protect Naomi, but to me, you've already had Naomi losing so much, and she's already kind of just another woman on the roster at this point. You don't really need to protect her. She's already been pinned a ton. She lost to Tiffany Stratton a few times. Like, you're protecting her? Really, what for? I don't know. But good match overall. It's going to be interesting to see what direction they go with Bayley now. Tiffany Stratton, probably don't want to do her and Bayley one-on-one yet. I mean, maybe they do that. But just depends what direction they go. Maybe Tiffany Stratton comes out on SmackDown and says, well, you didn't pin me. I want a one-on-one match against you. Naomi's the one who got pinned. Maybe that's why they did that. It's just I don't really see them wanting to have Tiffany Stratton take a pin right now, but could be wrong. Maybe they end up doing her and Bayley one-on-one. It'd be a fun match, really good wrestling match. And I have to see where they go from there. So the next match, only 5 matches on this card. We had Damian Priest against Jey Uso again. So for me, I love working champions. Reigns, to me, wasn't really a working champion. Enjoyed the storyline, but the matches, to me, just were kind of meh, not really exciting. Damian Priest, say what you want about him. I've heard fans saying he's a Jack Swagger. He's not really a world champion. He shouldn't be world champion. He should have lost his cash-in, whatever. He's a worker. The story with the Judgment Day is interesting. Priest looks like a world champion. I mean, there ain't no doubt about it. He has that look. He's a badass. He can work. I mean, I'm a big Priest fan. Always have been since his Ring of Honor days and when he got in NXT. Punishment Martinez. But him and Jay showed out. Very good match. Back and forth. Both hit finishers. Near falls. The crowd was into it. Jay, doing the yeet. He's over as hell. Some fans wanted Jay to win this match. I was, for one, not expecting him to win. It's just too early in Priest's reign. I think Drew's probably going to be the one to beat him for the title. But just a very good wrestling match, man. I really missed these kind of, with Reigns, in my opinion, we just weren't really getting this with Reigns. Good wrestling matches. Rollins, we obviously were, but just, it's good to see two great world title wrestling matches on a show. You just don't see that very often, especially when Reigns was champion. This ain't me hating on Reigns. He just ain't a worker. It is what it is. But Priest, got hit with a spear. He hit a kind of a spear. Jay hit the Uso splash on the top rope, got a near fall. He was close to winning again. JD McDonough comes out, puts Damian Priest's leg on the rope. Priest gets pissed off, saying, I don't want y'all's help. He ends up getting super kicked, JD McDonough. He falls off the apron. And then Finn Balor ends up distracting Priest later on. And then, Jay goes outside the ring, ends up spearing, I think, Balor and JD McDonough. Might have hit something else on JD McDonough. I think he hit a suicide dive on JD McDonough. Spear Balor, goes in the ring. Priest hits him with a choke slam, ends it 1, 2, 3. Priest retains, and again back and forth. Jay looked like $1 million. Priest looked like $1 million. And it looks like to me, and if you guys watched the previous episode of the podcast, Me, Tears, and Q to talk about, it looks like they're setting up a potential Damian Priest and Finn Balor feud for the title, which I would be a very big fan of. I think that'd be a very good feud. It seems like Judgment Day, not that it's ran its course, but I feel like they need to, have something intriguing happen with it, because Dominic Mysterio's out with an injury. Rhea's obviously out with an injury. JD McDonough, he's a good worker. How far can he go in this group? We'll see. And then Finn Balor and Priest, they were tag champs together. It feels like maybe they should break up this group and go in a different direction, or at least break up some of the group. But it definitely seems like they're teasing something happening with this group, because Priest has not been happy with the interference, and rightfully so. I mean, not all champions want interference, and WWE shouldn't have interference for all their heel champions. So overall, great match between those two. Really enjoyed it. Workers match. It's what you want. And all in all, just an excellent world title match. Hopefully they fight again. Next match, we had Kabuki Warriors against Belair and Jade Cargill for the women's tag titles. And listen, this ain't me hating on the women's tag titles. I thought it was a good idea when they brought it. It's just Vince didn't really make it important for so long. I'm one of them fans who just kind of forgot about them sometimes. It just kind of feels like they're just there. And sometimes it's just easy to forget about the women's tag titles. And I hate to say that because I'm a tag team wrestling fan. It's just, I don't know. It's just WWE doesn't really put them on pay-per-views. But I haven't really seen them on many pay-per-views in the last few months. So, I mean, I will have to see the direction. Maybe with, Cargill and Belair winning, they make them more important. I don't know. But it was an okay match. It wasn't really anything spectacular. It wasn't a classic or anything. It was just two teams going at it. Kind of sloppy at times. Asuka and Kyrie, we obviously know they can work. Belair can work. Jade's getting better in the ring. I've seen a lot of fans complaining about how she don't do anything different than she did in AEW. She's doing a lot of the same moves. WWE talked about training her to be better, and she's not doing anything different. I've seen a lot of the complaints. And this match, it was more about overall showing how Jade can work and what she's improved on. I think that's really the main objective they showed here. Figured Jade and Belair was going to win. Just don't really see either one of them taking a pin right now. So they ended up winning the match. Jade hits the move she hit in AEW, kind of like Beth Phoenix's finish the Glam Slam, kind of like a different. She does like a lot more to set it up, but she ended up hitting it and pinning Kyrie to get the win. Pretty sure that's who she pinned. And Jade and Belair are your new tag team champions. So it's going to be tough to see. Honestly, it's going to be tough to see what team beats these two. I mean, I really don't know what team's really going to beat them. They don't even have a lot of women's tag teams that could really stand a chance against Jade and Belair. So we'll have to see what the storyline and what feuds they have down the line. It's definitely going to set up probably them facing off at WrestleMania next year, unless they do Belair and Charlotte. Either one of those matches I would be on board with. But overall, probably the worst match on the card. Not even probably, it was the worst match on the card. Nothing really spectacular. Just got Belair and Jade the titles, and they moved on. Main event, Styles against Cody. What a main event. This match was spectacular. And for all the fans who were saying AJ Styles is washed and he don't have what it takes no more and he should retire, this match was a big F you to all y'all, because this match showed that Styles can still go at his age. Probably one of the best Styles matches I've seen in years. And QJ was also saying the same thing. Just a great match. Styles was hitting Death Valley drivers, and Cody was kicking out at one, and they went at it, and the crowd made this match even more better than. And it was a great match. The crowd really made it seem like a 5-star classic. The crowd was into it the whole time, just on their feet, energetic, and just this is why like I'm a fan of a wrestler like Cody over Reigns being champion, because Cody can work and just do awesome matches. And when you have two guys who are known for their work like Styles and Cody, and you give them about 20 to 25 minutes in the main event, it's not going to disappoint. Styles didn't hit any of his finishers, I don't think, in this match. I think it was pretty much whoever hit the first finisher won. Cody hit the crossroads and ended up winning. Really like how they set that up. They don't do that a lot. Sometimes a lot of world title matches are just like, okay, we're going to hit each other with 2-3 finishers. Whoever has the last finisher, the third or fourth finisher wins. And it's good to book some matches like that, but you also want to have like, okay, we're going to fight for 20 to 25 minutes. We're going to fight our hearts out, and then whoever hits their finisher first wins. And that was really good booking of this match to do that. A lot of cool moves hit. Styles did where he lifts them up, lands them on their head on his knee, or on their back on his knee. He hasn't done that in a while. He also did a 450. Just a lot of moves I haven't really seen Styles even attempt in a while, and it was just good to see him pull out the bag. And Cody looked like $1 million as well. He almost overshot the Cody cutter. I don't know if y'all saw that, but he went for the Cody cutter, and Styles, I think, was standing too close. So Cody had to readjust in midair, and it kind of looked like a mean Cody cutter, and he ended up just like planting Styles when he hit it. It was just a crazy, crazy spot. But overall, I give this pay-per-view probably an 8 out of 10. I thought this was a really well-booked pay-per-view. Really good matches. All the champions besides the women's tag titles retained, which was expected. And one thing I will say about this pay-per-view, though, is I still want them to go back to solo branded pay-per-views or brand exclusive pay-per-views. I talked about this in my last video about the WWE draft. Go check it out. But they should do, just solo branded pay-per-views, just because it's like a lot of fans would expect a lot of titles to be on the show, and the U.S. title wasn't defended, the Intercontinental wasn't defended, the Women's World title, the Becky one wasn't defended. It's just a lot of them titles weren't defended. And I feel like if they do brand exclusive pay-per-views, they could put, on Raw, they could do the world title, the Women's World title, the U.S. title, and then they could do like maybe 2 other matches, either like a tag title match, and then they could also do like a non-title match on the show, so they have time to put all the titles on the show. I feel like they would benefit from doing Raw and SmackDown on separate brands, besides like maybe like the core shows, like Money in the Bank, SummerSlam, Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, Survivor Series. Those could be co-branded. But if you're doing like Backlash and Judgment Day and pay-per-views like that, not Judgment Day the group, but like the old school pay-per-view Judgment Day, which they probably wouldn't do that now because of the group name, but just like an example, like it just gives you more time to make or to put matches or all the titles on that brand on the show, instead of having, co-branded pay-per-views where it's a lot of the same wrestlers on the show and some titles ain't getting the love they deserve, stuff like that. So what did you guys think of Backlash overall? Did you guys like it? What was your favorite match? What direction do you think some wrestlers are going in their stories? Let me know in the comments. Appreciate you guys watching. Make sure to like and subscribe, and check out the other channel links below.